Hey ladies, and welcome back to Ultraviolet. In today's episode, I am going to address what's going on in society right now. I truly wish that with my previous episodes, it would have satisfied the desire to constantly tarnish my name and my character and my reputation, but it hasn't. So it seems like I'm just gonna have to keep on constantly speaking out against the lies and the narratives that are being said about me. No one can have my identity. No one can have my greatness. No one can have my history, my background. No one can have me. I belong to Jesus Christ. And I am a grown woman. I am so tired of being targeted by this world and seeing that no justice and that people just continue to go on with their day as if there is not a situation happening in the world that needs their attention. Everyone needs to be involved in bringing an end to the target and the hate crimes that I am experiencing. And all of the lies that are being said about me, people need to start speaking out against them. So I just recorded just very naturally, and this is just a raw recording of me talking about what I am seeing and how it relates to my life and my experience. So go ahead and listen to it, and remember that I am not a part of all of these conversations. I can just see what happens on social media or what is the note that's left when I order a grocery delivery, for example, and the vibes that I get when I make phone calls. They have like every person I encounter being hateful and negative towards me, and it's just not okay. I'm very tired, and it has to end. So this is my take on things. Go ahead and listen. If you have a comment or concern, just let me know. Like, share, and subscribe, and here it is. So I've noticed that every time after I make a post about something, or I have a bad experience with my grocery deliveries, for example, our president, which I have totally believed in and championed for, he made the post after me, and it just seems really concerning because what I'm experiencing has been like an ignored situation, but meanwhile, I just see sometimes his posts seem very negatively geared towards me. And while I'm not a part of the conversation and no one is following up with my reportings, this is what I get from social media. And constantly, like, I can report, someone tried to tamper with my food, attempt to poison me, and I don't get a response from any government agency, not from the president, not from the stores. They just keep doing the same thing. And then after it happens, I get an update on the president's socials saying something. And while he could be not the person posting these things, it's still his responsibility as the president to be aware of the situations happening in America and to have compassion. I don't think it's funny at all. I'm a breastfeeding mother, and I'm just tired of the games. I already know that, there are these groups in the world, and people have done things, and it's been years that they've done it. Sometimes people want to fulfill their missions, but you can already see that I'm not a loser, I'm not a pushover, and I'm not just going to fall into the hands of the enemy. I'm just not. It's so disgusting that people are literally trying to poison me to hope that I become mentally ill. Like, they've actually tried to claim me as mentally ill, and they're trying to make me mentally ill so that they can frame me and they hope that I don't remember anything. But I am very mindful, and I do encourage all people to be mindful of what they do consume, and look at the packaging and stuff like that, because there's a lot of unstable people working in these environments with our food and produce. So me avoiding consuming these harmful things, it's been like 5 years now. Well, out of these 5 years that this situation has occurred, or that I've realized something was happening in my life, it's been like 3 years now that they have tried to poison me. So I'm not just going to not notice this, and I'm not just like, sometimes it's going to make me really upset like it did today. So here's the thing. With the president constantly making these posts and what I'm dealing with, I just feel like he's on the side of my enemies, people that should be arrested. I don't think he's blind or dumb to what's happening. And I'm starting to feel like his entire presidency was just to help New Yorkers who committed crime against me and have been preying on my life, on my life and my soul, on my entire being. And it's just not okay. Why are they doing this? Because I did work in Chicago downtown. I know that New York is a place where scamming is popular, but I never knew that, I never knew of any situations like this, like stealing money or however they do it. Like, I don't know anything about it, but I do know that I have worked in finance, and like, even with my own mother, like in 2016-ish or 2015, someone was able to use her car in California, but her car was physically at home with her. And then in my own experience, I have been able to witness a man at the Walgreens or CVS actually buying gift cards because he had my bank card on his phone with Apple Pay. And those are real life situations that I've dealt with. Working in finance and my job, like whenever someone calls and they'll say like, hey, someone took money on my account, we would have to make like fill out a form, a report, and submit it to our fraud team. So like, I don't know behind the scenes how these scammers are obtaining the information to steal from people or how they hack systems, but I know it's possible. You can read about how it's possible online, but they don't really have much information about how you can do it yourself. You have to meet one of them. And I also know from personal experience, this one person that I knew from work, which is my first financial job, her name is Genesis, but it was years later in 2020. I think she had met a scammer who showed her how they do scams, and she offered to show me, and I said no, I'm not interested. Or she said she know how to access their whatever they had. She knew how to access it on her phone, and I said no, I'm not interested. We eventually ended up not being friends anymore because I do actually take my career serious. I don't feel like, like this is like for any crime. Like, I'm not out here trying to catch criminals. I'm not a police officer. I'm not minding other people's business. I just don't want it for myself. And any person that knows me would know that I'm not interested in scamming. They would know that I'm not interested in any of those type of things. And they wouldn't really offer me to do it. But this friend actually offered me to do it because she's a part of a criminal organized crime network that's intended to target me. And I feel like the word would be framing that they are trying to do towards me for a crime. So let's go back to 2016. First of all, actually no, I know that in New York scamming is popular. I don't know a scammer in New York. I actually don't know anyone from New York, but I know that is something that I have heard probably from, I really don't know where I heard it from, but when I was growing up, like in the south suburbs, locally, there were known scammers, and you would know they're scammers because on like Facebook, they would send you a message and say, do you want to make some money? Or they'll say, do you have a Chase Bank? So you know that they're trying to do a scam. So there were like local scammers. I am not into the south suburbs or the people there, so it's never really been a concern for me. Whenever I got a message like that, I would just ignore it. And the thing about this is that when I started working in the business district, I'm just going to give the whole story. So when I started working in the business district, it was 2014. I worked at this company and we did red light ticketing. One of our clients was the south suburbs where I grew up, like Country Club Hills, Richmond Park. So if someone ran a light out there, I would capture the plate and enter it into the database along with the make, model, color of the car. I think that people found out that I do this job and they probably made a rumor that I'm the enemy because this was my job. I didn't live out there anymore, but I went to high school and middle school there. And I feel like the person that created this very issue I'm talking about is the one that spoiled the community with, oh, Corey's the enemy, she does red light cameras. That's just something that could be possible. So I worked there at this job, and me and my coworkers, we would go out after work and we would go places for a few hours, like happy hour. And one day we did a happy hour boat ride, and I thought that would be a fun part for my sister's birthday, which it was in July. So my coworkers, I was telling my sister like, oh, you have to meet my coworkers, and she was like, yeah, she want to go on the boat for her birthday, and she wanted them to come. So they came out with us, and one of my coworkers was actually very aggressive with my sister, and they actually ended up getting into a fight. What I know now is someone told her to be hateful toward my sister, and that's why that's what caused their fight. But at work, we both got fired, and that's when I ended up moving on into finance. So when I started working in finance, I worked at Innova, and I had an entry-level role, and I did customer service. We did all sorts of functions, and it was a great job. It's kind of like, it was a good job for a person that's beginning in finance because I learned a lot about loan processing and lending. Even though my role was for customer service, we had a separate loan processing team, but it's good for the career that was ahead of me. So it was like the first step in my career path that I was creating for myself. So at this job, I had a manager. Like, for the most part, the people, they were like mostly black, and to me, they seemed very professional as far as their job and career oriented. They didn't seem like they were up to anything. But my manager, she just seemed like she just like listened to music, and she didn't know much about the job. But we were cool. Like, we actually later, we became friends. But she was cool, and very like, like, she didn't know a lot of stuff, so she would like ask me. No telling how she got the job now that I know the situation that was happening. At that time, I didn't know. I just knew this was my manager, and I just treated her like a manager. And she treated me like a person on her team. And actually had like 2 managers and 1 team lead. They were all like older, in their 40s, and I was like 22 or 23. Yeah. And so we're working at this job. I realized that they probably had some sort of motive now that I look back at the situation. This company, like, while I was there, I actually ended up applying to the fraud team, but they didn't put me in a fraud team. Instead, there was like this one Indian girl, and they put her on the fraud team. And I was like, whatever, because I knew that I would just get a new job. Because it was kind of like a downgrade from my first job, the one that I got fired from, because of that fight. It wasn't an upgrade really, but the pay was more, but it was like status wise, it was not really an upgrade. But I did like the job. I like the people. I enjoy working with other black women. I mean, like I said, I came from a really professional job, so I feel like their level of professionalism was fine. Like, they followed the rules. Like, you weren't supposed to talk a lot. You wasn't supposed to be on your phone. You wasn't supposed to, like, they were older than me, most of them. But the one that was not older than me, this one that I later became friends with, and her mom was the convicted felon. So this is the story. So the manager and the girl with the mom that's the convicted felon, we were friends. So this girl, while I was working there, first my younger sister, she had got poisoned with something. I think it was in her weed she smoked, and it caused her chemical imbalance in her brain. And she had to go to like the mental hospital for like a week. And when she got home, we like got everything she needs to go back to normal, and she really did. And she have beautiful children today, and she's healthy for the most part, yeah. And then after that, my brother, he got into a car accident that caused him a traumatic brain injury. And he's fine today, but it's a miracle. And at that time, it was like very difficult to deal with. And my coworker, a week before my brother's accident, or probably just a few weeks, her brother was shot on the expressway. I think she told me that someone got out the car and shot him on the expressway, and they were just jealous. And after her brother got shot, her mom was released from jail, and they opened a nail shop about a few years later. By the time I worked at my final job that I told you about, or that I will tell you about. So what I realize now is that those South Suburb people, they followed my career to this new company, Anova. Like I said, scamming is popular in New York, but these South Suburb people, somehow they knew how to scam. And they followed my job into Anova. The reason I definitely know it is them, because also in my first job, there was one girl who had scammed a customer, and our CEO came and told us about it, and they even released like a news article saying that this employee was picked up because she scammed the customer. So I know, and I also had referred my best friend to the job, the first job. She didn't get hired, but so I know that these South Suburb people, she's from the South Suburbs, so I know these South Suburb people had planned something against me. And I know that now, but at that time, all of these things were happening like natural occurrences. Like my sister, she was hanging with people outside of me. We usually always hang together, but she was hanging with people outside of me, and that was just like not the vibe. And this coworker, I never met her brother, and my brother getting into the accident. Like all of these stories just seem very realistic that happened. I didn't have a concern like, oh, someone is after us, or I didn't feel that way at that time. So now that I look back, I can see that these South Suburb people have followed me. And what I do know is there is a transgender who is actually named Ariana Fletcher. She is a scammer, and I feel like she had been scamming with intentions to frame me, and she allowed her scamming, or used her scamming, to follow me into my career. Maybe this is how she made connections to complete her crimes. And I think she intended to frame me for her scams, and did all of these things. Like she claimed that at this time, I wasn't under him. First of all, I don't know her, but I thought that she was a woman until recently I found out she's a transgender. So she claimed that her brother had died, so she named herself like the real Kyle sister. So seeing that my brother, he did not lose his life, but this other girl, her brother did lose his life, and she actually ended up making her name like blank sister. And then with it happening to my brother too in a short time, I feel like someone have tried to like relate us to each other. Like the friend that I told you about, Jasmine, who was from the South Suburbs, my best friend, and I referred her to my first job, and she did not get hired. Her brother has died, and she had put on her Twitter like Juju's sister. So, first of all, there's a trend with killing brothers, right? Whole time this transgender is a boy. I feel like she was framed, like she did these crimes with intentions to ruin my reputation and frame me so that she can live in my truth, as she's after my feminine soul. That's truly what I believe. Clearly, any person who is a young kid and I saw this person on Facebook, and growing up, when I saw her, I think it was a post where she was supposed to be like gay or something, and that's why I never have been friends with her, because in the South Suburbs, a lot of people will add you, everybody will be on each other's friends list, but you don't always know all of these people. But her, I did not add her on my friends list because she was gay. And I was studying a certain religion, that Jehovah Witness Christianity, which means that you just was not supposed to be so worldly. So that's one thing I didn't want on my Facebook. Plus, I don't know her, so it was never a thing. It's just I didn't add her. But I don't know at what point it was that her brother died, but it seems like she has tried to make that like a trend, people's brothers dying. And I don't know if she's doing these killings, but she definitely have something to do with it. Then it's she growing up seeing that she posted that she was gay, but now it turns out you're actually a transgender. And how, if you were that young, able to look like a girl, there's definitely something it's definitely something that you're involved with that has been able to raise you up to look like a female while you're actually a boy. So no telling what she's been through in life. I feel like she's a psychopath to have followed me all the way into my adult life like this. And she has continued to want to be me, and she has created lies about me. Like, there was a point in my life where people were saying that I'm a man or I'm a boy, and people were calling me a scammer, they were calling me a prostitute, they were calling me a bad person, saying that I'm a bad daughter. And later I found out that they thought they were practicing dark spirituality on me, and that through telling all of these lies and rumors about me, that I would become these things. They thought I would become gay, they thought I would become a scammer, they thought I would become a prostitute, they thought I would become a bad daughter. But I only became closer in my relationship with God, and I realized that I am a follower of Jesus Christ. And I'm not, so now that he has me, it's literally as soon as these things in 2021, that's when these things started to literally pour into my life. And Jesus literally snatched me up and saved me and said I am his. And it's so insane that this happened. It's just absolutely crazy. But so this girl, her brother dies. Then my brother gets into this accident. My sister gets better a couple months later. It took some time for her to get better, but she got better. And by the time she was better, she met a man, and they started dating. They kind of moved in together. And my mom, she actually moved us from one house to another house, which was on the east side, which is, mind you, this transgender girl, she had claimed to be dating a guy from the east side. And I'm just wanting to say this so that you can see how they're constantly trying to resemble to my life. So she dated a guy from the east side, and he's a rapper. And they were together. They supposedly had a baby together and everything. So after living there, my mom then moved to the south suburbs where the transgender went to high school. And I couldn't believe she would move there. We grew up in the south suburbs, but we don't really go past Olympia Fields. Everything past Olympia Fields is kind of dirty. Not dirty, but it's just not my vibe. And I like the city more. So the fact that she moved here, I was really surprised. And then when we moved there, she would get into it with my brother, and she said she doesn't want him at the house. So he started living with his friends, and I was the only person there. And I just really dreaded living there. I did work downtown, and my commute took a couple hours. So I would go to and from work, and sometimes I would catch the train too and park my car at the train. But I literally couldn't believe my mom would move here. It's just not her. But she had got a boyfriend, and she would go to his house, which was also kind of on the east side. Yeah, it's on the east side. South Shore area, kind of, I believe. So I would always be at home by myself, or I would be out. Whenever I was at home, I would be asleep. So, with living there, I was surprised. My brother couldn't be there, so I began to want to get my own place. And at some point, my mom started to spend more time at home. And, like, the fights were just too much for me. I was like, I'm getting my own place. Like, even though my family, they were all fine with me, it's not a good feeling for everybody to be fighting. And then, like, I'm just the person that everybody is okay with. Like, that was not cool. And it was just, like, it hurt a lot. I wanted better for my family. But I did work from home, and sometimes it was just too disturbing. So I moved to Hyde Park, and I started making friends with the people that I already knew. The coworker whose brother died, she had actually stopped coming to work. First, she moved to a different department. She moved to a department that works on the UK lending. And then she actually just left the company as a whole because her mom opened a nail shop in the Water Tower, Chicago. So while I was working, let's see, by the time she left that job, I was already at a new company, and I worked in the John Hancock. But let's see, yeah, so by the time I moved to Hyde Park, I had started being friends with the girl with the nail shop from my first job, and this other girl that went to my middle school, which I actually started to connect with her when I moved to the south suburbs, because she liked going downtown too, and like with all of this stuff happening in my life, I was not like really making friends. I had just got out of a 4-year relationship, and I just had a lot going on, and I just needed to go out. So she was like my going out friend. I didn't know, like I knew she didn't have like a lot of money, but I didn't know that she was like, you know, like in need of money until one time she told me that she needs to find a job. So I helped her with her resume and helped her apply to my jobs that I had and where I had worked previously. So it seems like these south suburb people, which she's from the south suburbs too, Angeline, it seems like they had a long time like vendetta against me, not for any reason, but besides they wanted to help this transgender. Like they probably never knew what it was about, but it was about this transgender wanting my identity, wanting my feminine soul. And they also wanted to see like they knew that I was very popular, but well, I knew I was very popular, but someone told them that I was going to be really successful, and they were supposedly like competing with me for my spot. But I didn't have any conversations about me being successful with anybody. But now I realize that it's because when I was younger, my grandma's house had a house fire, and I was like, basically the fire department like rescued me from the fire, which I talked about it previously on my podcast at Ultraviolet. So I think that situation is why people had continued to follow me into my adult life. And it turns out that Nicki Minaj is basically having a stage presence as my mom, Olga Nikki Terry, and she posing as mom. You know, she's a New Yorker. And this is where it comes to Donald Trump. I think that they have something going on. Like, they were probably helping Nicki Minaj in some way. And, like, okay, so, like, let's say, like, okay, so, like, growing up, it's not much harm she can do to a kid, right? But growing up, it seems like Nicki Minaj, clearly she's the person that told them that they wanted me to be a celebrity. So she had all of these people compete with me. And... that's how I feel like that's how I got on the streets, that, you know, this kid is going to grow up to be a celebrity and that they can compete with me. And then when I moved to the south suburbs in middle school, I met this girl named Jasmine, which she had a stepdad. His name is Reggie. He works in information technology, and it seems like he has helped in this cyber attack that I've experienced in hacking. that I've experienced, I feel like he's definitely one of the people at the core of this situation. It's an organized crime if you ask me, but he's definitely one of the ringleaders that works with this local scammer, Ariana Fletcher, who's a transgender. And I feel like he has tried to help her become me. And now it's like she watched me every day, and they probably thought it would help her become more feminine so that she can take over my life. Like, they destroyed everything I had going for myself. My career was going in such a great direction, regardless of whatever arose, like things that I dealt with. I continued to keep going, and they did all of these things to break me down. Like, they invaded every area of my life, and they've came into relationship with every person and place that I was associated with to have them all abandon me and go against me, like betraying me, like literally. And I have been left with nothing to rely on. I have relied on my mom a bit, but even with me relying on her, she's very cruel and hateful towards me. And it's like actually insane. So now I'm in a situation where I let go of my car. I live where literally I need to get an apartment lease. I don't have my own place to live, and I need it because living with family all the time just leaves room for these enemies to have access to me because they have sided with those people. And I don't care why, because it's been 5 years and now I'm a mom, and the hurt and the harm that I have experienced during this time has already shown me that my baby is my only family, and that just pushes my Dan family back to be relatives, and I don't have anyone. So my child is my family. I do plan to get married one day and have kids and grow my family and grow my networks again, but right now this is who I have. And it's crazy that even as a mother, even during my pregnancy, I dealt with these cold, harsh things like making me be homeless for from May to September, like having no place to live. Like, it's been insane, and this government has not helped me, and they have constantly involved themselves in mimicry towards me, and I just don't understand why, and I'm very tired. Like, literally, every time I try to sue or try to get justice for myself, they do something like make me homeless or make it very difficult for me, and I'm just tired, so I stopped even trying that. But I have looked forward to having everything I need. I'm confident that things will fall into place. I'm a praying woman, and I have Jesus, so I know things will be better soon. But I'm not just going to sit back and constantly see people mimic me about what I'm going through, especially when it's a threat to my life. And I'm a breastfeeding mom, so I'm on government assistance. Like, that is a limited income, and I work so hard to not have this sort of life, but they have forced it on me through crime and offering no sort of aid or assistance or no investigation. They're just freely letting this psychopath transgender do all of these things with girls who were clearly broke. That's why they have no principles and no morals. They're down to do anything she told them to do, and they call themselves baddies. They are like little boys, and they like little boys, and they have these little small men stalking me all the time, breaking things, just wasting my money. And I'm just so tired. Like, they're literally trying to hurt me, but it's like, you're a complete stranger and you're clearly crazy and you're weird as fuck. How could you really hurt me? If all of the world is like you and if all of the world agree with you, I just can't be hurt. Like, you have no quality about yourself. There's no substance in you or anything that you talk about or have against me. It's just nothing for me to be hurt about. I am angry and upset that this is allowed and that people can't see that you are just, like it's like you're living life on the edge, and it's crazy. I'm just so tired. So overall, it seems like this move to the south suburbs that my mom had in University Park was to move next door to a gas station where they are scamming somehow. I reported this to the FBI and to the police numerous times. My reports are constantly ignored. And I'm just simply so tired. They, they keep tampering my food, trying to poison me. And I feel like they're putting small amounts of chemicals on the food, and they're thinking that it would add up to me becoming mentally ill or something, so that they can continue to do what they're doing without me confronting it. But there's nothing wrong with me. I'm completely healthy. I avoid a lot of things, and anytime I have consumed something that had made me not feel well, I have never consumed anything that did not make me feel well, except for one time during my pregnancy I did, and I threw it right up. Like, literally, it didn't last in me for 1 second, not even a millisecond. I just threw up instantly. So it's like, I'm not consuming these things. I have regular bowel movements. Like, so whatever they're trying to claim or whatever they're telling people about me is just false. And they just want people to think that something is wrong with me and that I'm in so much danger to make the public fear standing in the way of this injustice. But I feel like people should rise. People should be protesting. They need to give me relief, and they need to stop making it like a joke. This transgender clearly needs help. She needs to be in a mental institution. She needs to go to jail from there. What she did is not okay. And it's never going to be okay, because she has continued in her stalking. Now I'm a mom. There was a point in time when they had little boys stalking me outside because I don't have a car. So they would have like little boys following me everywhere I go. And I'm like, shouldn't people be concerned about their kids? Like, and they were, just doing all these things, trying to make it like I am interested in little boys. Now I have my own son, and I find out you're a transgender. That's just what you wanted to see. That's what you're interested in. You think you're switching realities with me. You want a little boy to follow me because you are a little boy, and you probably like little boys. But I'm a grown woman. I literally showed my vagina recently because I am not going to let anybody think that I'm not a woman. I had a whole baby, and you want people to think that I'm not a woman? Like, you crazy. And then, like, so this whole thing is just too crazy. Like, this person was probably raised with the knowledge that she would steal somebody's light, and she chose me because I already had the importance, but I'm not chose. That's the thing. Like, you're chose. You were born chose. You were born a woman, and you have a penis. You're the chose one. I'm not the chose, okay? It's like, you need to, like, if you want to not live right, you need to go to your own little bubble with that, because nobody's about to be dealing with these things. I'm definitely not. You're not going to be playing with me and my son. I'm not even going to play about that. And then it's like they're doing things through social media and through cyber, so it's just so funny. But it's like, one day you're going to have to face the consequences. And one day karma's going to bite you. Like, you don't just get away with things like this. You don't. I'm a praying woman. It's not going to happen. Trust me. And I constantly am looking for justice. I'm constantly looking to move forward. But really, the cause of this issue, the cause of me not having my own place or a stable home, the cause of me not having the income that I work so hard for, like right now, I should be earning at least $300,000 a year. That's what my career path would have resulted in. What caused me to, like, literally be single, I'm a single mom, what caused this is this transgender man literally stalking me, scaring everyone from sticking to me, scaring businesses, people, bringing people to a relation with her and her scam, and Jasmine Clark and Reginald Hampton association with her, whatever sort of financial scam they have going on. That is what caused this, and I need to bring an end to it. Besides them having this scam going on and claiming that they're framing me, clearly they're not just doing this scam because they're, like, wanting to make my name dirty. Clearly they are really getting money and they are enjoying it, and they don't want to stop. That's what it is. They don't want to stop doing their scam, even though they're caught, even though I've constantly told them that I clearly see what you're doing. You need to stop what you're doing. I'm not playing with these people. I've never been playing with these people. I don't even know this girl. She's a complete stranger who knew about my career possibilities, and I'm tired of her. or him, this is a transgender. So, and if he act like a woman, I would, by all means, I would like grant that respect. But this person doesn't even act like a woman. The entire time, it just seemed like she was like a girl who clearly have an issue with men. But the whole time, this is a boy. Like, she act like a boy, but she's a grown man, and she has an issue with with a woman because you want my feminine soul, and it's just not happening. What Nicki Minaj has done to my mom, it's like Nicki Minaj has a whole career. She's a rapper. We know where she made her money. And whatever her personal life is, whatever. But what she told the public, what she told us, is that she's a rapper and that's how she make her money. No one has ever, targeted me in all of these ways, harassing me at my apartment, harassing me at my job, stealing my money, lowering my pay, making my friends bribe me. No one has ever done all these things. Not until 2021, and that's because that's when I stopped being friends with these girls. Clearly, they were just like enjoying spying on me while they were doing their scams. But when I stopped being friends with them, obviously that raised alarm, and they decided to strike against me. And in that year, I moved into a luxury apartment, and I experienced my cousin dying literally like when I moved into the apartment. And then after he died, I just started to experience people stalking and harassing me. Actually, I was already experiencing these friends acting really like, they were acting like haters. So I stopped being their friends. And then after I stopped being their friends, people started stalking me at my apartment. So after that, and I decided to hire an attorney to figure out if they can give me another apartment unit, because someone knew my apartment number, and they didn't want to, because clearly they were a part of this transgender scam. They didn't want to. So the attorney let me know that my option is to break the lease. I broke the lease and I moved into a property that my dad owns, because at this point I was like, I'm just going to buy my own place. I had a relative that needed a place to stay anyway. So I was like, I'm just going to buy my own place. And they saw, like, I had my own small business. I had my job, and I was looking to buy a house. And I also was dating somebody that I was hoping that we would get married. So they saw all of these good things going in my life, and they literally ruined my relationship with the guy. They hacked me and invaded everything I had going for myself. My job started acting crazy. And, they completely intruded in my life, and I tried to fix these things, and it just took away so much time from me working and everything. And I ended up stopped working. And, I even consider, it's just like so crazy. I even considered getting a bankruptcy. But even when I was doing that process, I paid so much money, and the entire time they just were never even working on my bankruptcy. And they didn't even give me like all of my money back. When I filed for unemployment, they did not give me all of my employment. Like, this entire time they have gypped me. Even with the TANF benefit that I'm getting right now from your link card, they're gypping me. And they're constantly doing the same thing. They're saying that there's two of me. So clearly this transgender think that she's living through my image. She and other people like Lori Harvey have clearly gained a spotlight and grew in status through their targeting me. And I'm like, what type of woman would even want to be known for, like, your entire celebrity is going to be about you targeting another woman, another American woman? Like, that does not even make sense. So I know it's just something. And I'm just really tired of this. I want them to be in jail. I'm so tired of what has happened. Literally, now we know what happened to my brother. Like, the police should be investigating. And like, he have his own life, and if he don't want that, then it's cool. But for me, I'm tired of America allowing this to happen to me. Donald Trump, just because he's from New York, does not mean that he needs to, side with New York people. Because if they're wrong, they're wrong. I don't know who they are, besides like Nicki Minaj and Angela Yee. Probably like Fabulous. His daughter is friends with Lori Harvey, I think. So, and they're associated with Ariana, so-called baby daddy. I don't know how she have a baby because she have a penis, but they're associated. And, all of this stuff is just crazy. They need to stop these people, because I'm not going to live, like, first of all, I don't fear them, and I'm not going to live in danger. I'm going to keep on reporting and keep on saying something about it, because I'm not going to be a conspiracy just because this girl is a transgender. She should be ready to come out and be honest about who she is. Everything you did to me tells that you are a transgender. No woman does this. Not even a man. Like, you're literally a boy, and you need to grow up and be a real man. That's why she needs to go to jail. And I'm just so tired. You have no idea how difficult this has been. Like, now I'm at a point where so at my last job, this company, they kept on writing me up and stuff. So, like, and then at some point they started doing things to my computer, and I think it has something to do with the hacking that happened. Like, till this day, my phone is still hacked by these people, and they literally do things like, if I order groceries, they'll figure out who my delivery person is and have them do things to my food. Like, that's what's happening in America right now. And I'm a breastfeeding mother, so they're hoping that I become mentally ill because it worked on my sister. But I don't do drugs, and nothing's wrong with weed, but that's something that happened then. We were so young, and she was smoking weed. I'm not even smoking weed, so poisoning my food is like, you're really just trying to torture me, and I'm so freaking tired of it. Like, when I have tried to say something about it in the past, they have tried to call me crazy. Like, it's just so insane. All of this stuff. They tell attorneys not to respond to me. They tell people if they do talk to me that they're going to die. So that's my family's basis for being so mean and betraying me. They're telling people not to acknowledge the situation. And I'm just so tired. They have people harassing me. They move people next to me to harass me. They have people, like, men who would be her outside of her feminine body. They have those type of people harassing me, like Hispanic Mexicans who are short and little. And it's just so tiring. I just want America to do something about it. It should not be happening. Now I'm a mother with a child. I don't need any transgender or gay people stalking me and my baby. It's just not okay. So, poisoning my food because you want me to become crazy so that your little dark spirituality can work, it's not going to happen. Even if you poison me, God's words tell you that Christians can survive poison. You can read in Mark 16:17 through 18, it says, "They will pick up serpents with their hands, and if they drink anything deadly poison, it will not hurt them. They will lay their hands on the sick, and they will recover." So, as you can clearly see, Christians are not going to be affected by this. I am a follower of Jesus Christ. I don't follow dark spirituality. I don't have any intention or desire to be a part of the works of the devil like you do. He's my op, and that's why you're my op. I will never like you. And the conversation is over. Stop trying to relate me to these people. Stop trying to make me out to be a bad person. I'm never going to be a bad person. I'm never going to be a scammer. I'm never going to be a criminal like they are. Sorry. So the US American government is declining to investigate these situations, but constantly insinuating to Americans that something is happening to me or that I am a criminal, and that's not okay. It's not fair, and I want justice. Like, you guys need to cease from this activity trying to make it like I did something to help these people who claim to be baddies. These are some slow, retarded women that need to be in jail. No one's just going to frame me. I'm not just going to let anyone do any of those things to me. I don't care who they are. They're no way more important than I am. They're not more woman than I am. They're not more civil than I am. I am way better of a citizen here in America than they are. So it's not funny at all. And I'm clearly going to keep standing against it. Karma is going to hit you back in the face. So leave me the fuck alone if you don't have anything nice to say. Don't make up any lies about me. It's not funny. I'm I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm tired of the lies. You have people from all angles targeting me and disrespecting me, and you think that I'm just supposed to be quiet and okay with it. And I'm just supposed to even let the President of the United States of America think bad about me. No one asks me, can they make up all these lies about me, and I just be silent about it. They tried to do this all behind my back, and after it has been 5 years, now it all adds up. And what has happened in my life and what they are plotting to do today. I'm tired and it needs to end. Stand against this hate, America.